Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video we got this 2017 Toyota Sienna. We're going to replace the front brake pads and rotors. So the brake pads are really low and the rotors doesn't look in good condition. So I got these brake rotors here. These are electric coated, right? They're really good, right? And they are rust free. They will not rust. And the shiny part you see, that's where the brake pad is going to ride. So that thing doesn't affect anything. Anyways, I'm going to show you the part number, torque specs, and everything. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this 14mm bolt right there. Sometimes this will turn with this, so if it does, just use a vice grip to hold that. Don't take off the top one on the top here. Let me show you the one on the top here, because you can simply just pull off the caliper and slide it off. I'm going to show you how you're going to do that. Anyways, let me go get a 14 for that. Okay, so 14mm for this little guy right here, and you're going to turn it counterclockwise. So you're turning it that way. Alright, if this moves, you can use a vice grip to hold it, because this will turn with it, and this comes right off. There you go. Now we can take off the caliper. Okay, to take off a caliper, you could use a pry bar or flathead just to pry this out. But most of the time, it will come off just like that. You just lift it up and you slide the caliper off, and you can leave it right on the top sitting here. And then we're gonna take off this little guy. All right, these two retainers, make sure you put new ones in. And then we have another one. So two of these comes off. Brake pads. I want you to pay attention to your brake pads when you remove these brake pads. I'm going to show you what to pay attention to. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to the brake pad just like that. You see this little guy, this clip, brake wear indicator, goes on the top, same manner. The part that sticks out is facing outwards, not the other way around. That'd be the wrong way. Okay, and it's on the top. Let me take off the inner brake pad. There you go, the inner brake pad, same thing. Okay, so both of them have it on the top. And look at the brake pads, they're down to minimum, okay? Anyways, next step, we're gonna go back there. We need to take off two 17mm bolts for this bracket here, and that would come right off. Alright, so what I'm gonna do here is, I'm gonna take my impact gun to remove this guy right here. And then we have one down here. Alright, once they're loose, I'm going to just come out simply and take them off by hand. And your bracket will just come right out. Next step, we're going to bang this rotor out. So you could hit it right here, or you could use it like a 12mm bolt that goes into here to these holes, and you could put the bolt in it and the rotor will pop out. Anyways, if you hit it softly, most likely it will come out. There you go. Next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna prep this, okay? So I like to make a decision if this hardware kit is any good or not. Okay, to me this hardware kit is pretty good. A lot of times you can change it, but this one is still shiny. I do not like to take off original stuff, okay? If they're shiny, they're looking good, do not touch it, okay? But you do need to clean it. Alright, so let me go get my wire brush. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is make sure you clean the hub here really good. There's no rust. There's nothing there's a buildup. Because a lot of this buildup, what it's gonna do is it's gonna make your disc sit crooked. And you're gonna have a shaky foot pedal, shaking brakes, but there you go. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna spray it down with air and probably cleaner. But on this end, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean out the hardware, okay? Just has a little bit of a lot of brake dust. That's about it. We're still waiting for the new brakes. Alright, let's talk about this hardware kit. So you're going to have a whole bunch of pieces, okay? Like I said, if it's not old, if it doesn't look damaged, broken, rusted, corroded, don't touch it. So you're gonna put 4 of these on. 1, 2, just stick it in there. Make sure it's not sticking out of the where the disc is gonna spin, so it doesn't rub and make noise. Same thing here. All right, they all look pretty much the same. So 4 of those goes on, but mine's I'm not gonna touch. Okay, put some greasing on this little guy right here. Okay, once you put grease in, put it back in. So I'm gonna do that on the side. Same thing on the other pin of the caliper. Okay, but let's go move on to compressing that piston in. Okay, so to compress this piston in, make sure it's nice and clean, not too much dirt and debris, and there's no fluid leaking, because calipers will leak. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take an old brake pad, put it right there. All right, this is a double piston, so you're gonna need 2 C-clamps, but I'm always able to manage it with one of my tools here. Okay, so we're gonna put this in there. So what I do is usually I squeeze one side as the other side is being pushed in, and both of the sides will go in eventually. Okay, just don't let the piston pop out. And there you go, you see that? Bada bing, bada boom. And I want to tell you, once you're done complete changing the brake pads, make sure you pump your brake pedal. It's going to be soft and then it's going to get hard. Do not put the car into drive, start off and put it to drive, because it's not going to stop, okay? So there you go, I'm going to let that sit right there. So now we need to wait for the new pieces. Okay, so I have things apart already, and let me show you the part numbers for everything. So here's our discs. They need to be cleaned. They do have a greasing or oiling on it. Both sides needs to be cleaned. All right, so the part number right there, as you can see, and that's the disc brand right there. All right, so they're electrically coated, and there you go. And here's another one, and this is our front brake pads. There's the part number, so that's the brand I'm using, AKEBONO. Pretty good brakes. All right, good stuff. All right, it will explain to you everything here on this box here about these electric coating paint, prevents rust and everything. Okay, so you can go through it and check it out, but we're gonna clean these and put them on the car. Okay, so we're gonna use brake cleaner here, parts cleaner. Spray this down and just give it a good touch. Okay, you don't have to go crazy. There's different ways of cleaning. A lot of people use hot soapy water, and do the same thing for the other one. You're gonna smell this. Okay, a lot of smoke is gonna come off this when you first drive it, but I urge you guys to clean it, because if you don't clean it, your brakes are gonna fail. Okay, and that looks pretty good. And we're gonna take this onto the car. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our disc and we're gonna put the disc on. All right, there you go, perfect. After that, remember the bracket. We already have cleaned the bracket and everything, so we're gonna put the bracket on. The 2 bolts that go onto the bracket, the 17mm, the torque specs on these are 79 foot-pound, okay? So make sure you take your caliper and put on the 2 bolts, and then you torque it. So you're not gonna see me torque it, but 79 foot-pound, that is the torque spec. I'm gonna give you the spec to the 14mm bolt as well. But right now, let me get these tight, and then we're gonna come back, put the brake pads on, and we'll complete the job together. And I did use a little bit of greasing there, and the grease I used was this little guy right here. Let me show you right now. This is a lube I used. Okay, but let me tighten this, and then we'll put the brake pads on. Alright guys, once we're done with tightening this bracket here, inside your brake pads, you're gonna have clips like this. So if you're getting the same brake pads, so there, remember, there was on the top. So we hold the brake pads just the way they're supposed to be, and we take 2 clips, you just clip them on just like that. Make sure it's at the correct position. It's a little bit off. There you go, right in the center. Okay, so remember I put this clip this way, but if I had put it the other way around, that would be the wrong way, because I have seen that several times. Customer come to me, they have brake noise, and they just recently got brake pads. So another thing is, these brake pads, should go on nicely and easily. And you do need to push this down a little bit so it can go inside there just like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the inner brake pad, which is a little bit hard to see, but it goes on the same way, okay? Remember, this goes, you have to just push this down a little bit and it goes in. Okay, there it goes. Nothing. I can't see back there, but let me see if I can manage it from up here. There you go, perfect. And once you have the disc like that, it's gonna sit flush. All right, so the next step is inside your bag, you're gonna have 2 of these. They go on as well. Okay, another thing is, a lot of times I put greasing here, but these brake pads been really good to me, and I don't think we're gonna need any greasing. But if you like, you can put a little bit of greasing here, and on the inside, not on the inner side of the pad, but on the back pad. And then these are a little tricky as well. Okay, there's a small little hole here where this goes into. Couldn't see the hole. I'm at the wrong spot. There you go. One here, one right there. A lot of times this will make noise. I came across a lot of times I'll have a problem that this will rub against the disc. So if you have that issue, make sure you take it apart and take a look at it. And you're gonna take this a caliper, slide the pin in. Make sure the boot goes on flush. And this guy goes right on. Make sure your line is not twisted and curved, okay? So now I'm gonna go get the bolt. So here's my bolt that goes right here. Very simple. And the torque spec on this bolt is 25 foot-pounds. So that's what I'm gonna do. Make sure you tighten yours 25 foot-pound. If it spins here, like I said, you could grab it with the vice grip. But I'm gonna tighten this. Do not leave it loose. Double check your work. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't forget to compress the piston by pressing the brake pedal several times before you start the car. Alright, so I need to tighten this and torque this, and I'm all done. Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like.